that is why in Indonesia he made it a special attention to reach out. That's the biggest Muslim country in the world, and was able to communicate this under the themes that he had was on faith with fraternity and compassion. And all these are important values, so to speak. When you have faith, you will be able to create brotherhood, sisterhood, one family, and be compassionate to each other more than being proud or trying to outdo one another. So the equality in God's eyes, that's what he's been very strong about in his leadership as the Holy Father.
Okay, and these are some pictures we're now getting from how it was in Jakarta, where the Holy Father met with, of course, the Catholics in Indonesia. Catholics, by the way, Indonesia is a very populated country. It's got about 283 million people, and out of those, about 3%. What do they call it? They have a special name for it. I'm sure that the Garuda Airbus is not referred to as that, but he has his own plane that is referred to like the President of the United States. It's called Air Force One. And is it like that?
Yes, John, and our viewers and listeners, this plane that the Holy Father gets onto for his long travels, they refer to it as Shepherd One.
Shepherd One?
Shepherd One, yes.
Wow, wow.
Because he's supposed to be the chief shepherd.
Okay.
So the shepherd has that premier place when he gets on that plane.
All right. Well, the Airbus that's bringing the Holy Father here is not called Shepherd One, but at least we had the benefit of knowing that his plane is Shepherd One, Air Force One, if it's the United States of America president, or Trump One, if it's Donald Trump. But here we have the live pictures from the airport, and that vehicle we just saw is the vehicle specially fitted to transport the Holy Father from the airport to the Apostolic Nunciature at Papua New Guinea here at Corbusier. That'll happen later on. But I think they're anticipating the plane to land any time. It's now about 7 o'clock, and the indications we are getting that the Garuda Airbus will touch down at about maybe 7 past or 10 past. This could be it. Maybe it's a little earlier than what I was told, but as we can see, it's making its approach. It's coming in. Well, I'm told that it's another plane. It's not the Garuda Airbus. So everybody relax.
For now.
I know there was a moment of high anticipation and expectation. So the Garuda Airbus is about 6 minutes away. So it'll be after 6 minutes. If there's an aeroplane landing, that'll be it. But at the airport, Archbishop, there are a number of people who are there to receive the Holy Father and his entourage. Now, coming with him on that plane, we are told are a number of people, his own security, his own medical personnel. Tell us about that.
Well, John, I think he has his entourage that is made up of a lot of the journalists that will be covering stories, but also you have the personnel who takes care of his personal needs.
Yes.
Given that he's an old man now, he's 87 and having to have this one of the longest journeys in his life as the Holy Father, as the Pope, and so he needs those extra personnel to be closer to him. And as we know, he is also on a wheelchair, and these are certain needs that he needs extra people and extra hands to take care of him.
Yes, because he's he's in a situation where, I mean, he's 88 very shortly. He will be 88 very shortly. And I think this is the twilight time of his life, I suppose. And, you know, he needs a little bit of attention. And this flight is the second of a 4-nation tour, the longest he's ever taken. So I guess his condition will have to be monitored closely. Now, at the dais here, these are live pictures you are seeing at Jackson's airport right now. That dais we will see in a short while. The Holy Father will be up there to take the guard of honor, and right now I think on the dais is the commander of the Defense Force, Commodore Philip Polaware, the acting chief of the Papua New Guinea Defense Force. And there are other officials down there. Right in the left-hand corner, I can see the Honorable Justin Chechenko. And here is a picture of all the clergy out there, no doubt. The Cardinal will lead that group. So they're sensing there's some activity now on the ground at Jackson's airport, at the APEC dais. A special place set up there to welcome the Holy Father. The Air New Guinea officials, government workers. See, there's government people there. The Honorable John Rosso, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Lands, is at the airport to receive the Holy Father. See, the other thing we've got to remember is Pope Francis is not just the Pope and the clergy for, and that is, and talking about the man, that's him, the Deputy Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea and Lands Minister, the Honorable John Rosso. Going up there, him and the commander of the Defense Force will be receiving the Holy Father on that dais, from which he will take the guard of honor. But I think the Deputy Prime Minister is also going to be accorded that benefit as well while waiting. The Deputy Prime Minister, of course, represents the people of Papua New Guinea. The Holy Father is a religious leader of the Catholics throughout the world, but he's also the head of state of the Vatican state. So he has his embassy here, which is called the Apostolic Nunciature, and the Apostolic Nuncio represents him here in Port Moresby at Air New Guinea Hill. And that is the case elsewhere in the world where the Vatican has embassies or apostolic nunciatures in those countries. And some of the other government officials on the left-hand corner of your screen there are also there as part of the government delegation to receive the Holy Father. We are only a few minutes away, I think, from seeing that Airbus from Air Garuda, the Indonesian national airline that is flying in the Holy Father and his entourage into Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. And this, the Papua New Guinea leg, the Papua New Guinea leg of the Holy Father's visit is the second of 4. He's been to Indonesia, he's been to Jakarta. Now he's here for at least 2 or 3 days. And then he flies to Timor-Leste and then all the way to Singapore. So it is quite a long trip by the Holy Father. Now, Archbishop, it is also said that he's coming here is trying to get his message to the periphery of these countries. The word periphery is that not only does he want to go to developed areas and to the established areas, but go to new areas where the church is developing and growing, and in places particularly like Timor-Leste and Papua New Guinea, and Indonesia as well.
Yes, John, what is significant in this particular four-nation visit, that Pope Francis appointed 4 new cardinals of these places. So our own His Eminence John Ribat, he also appointed the others for East Timor, Timor-Leste, and Singapore, and Indonesia. So in a sense, he is following up on this important development in the church that he appointed to senior leadership in the church from these very almost unknown countries, unknown communities. And then he's following up, because he himself, being appointed Pope, he considers himself also from the end of the world, because he's the first one from South America.
Yes.
And so he feels more closer, and the feeling of being out there at the edges and the fringes now coming to the center stage.
And there is the Airbus, Air Garuda Airbus, with the Holy Father making the approach, and will touch down on Papua New Guinea soil, carrying the Holy Father. Out that there are hundreds of people at Jackson's to see that plane land, and to see the Holy Father emerge from that, and is escorted to the dais up there, where he will take the guard of honor and meet members of the clergy there and government officials. There was some reports that the Airbus was taking off in Jakarta a little bit late, but they made up time, and they're almost on time here. Just a few minutes late, but on time, as how the program was laid out here in Port Moresby for the Papua New Guinea leg of his trip.
Well, John, the point for us will be, we always put an hour and always we are late, but I think for this case, we can find it exceptional that we're still within time because of the flying time. They managed to catch up for the hour that was proposed.
The program is the special charter will stop at an area reserved for ceremonies at the APEC terminal. The Vatican protocol and security officials, I think, will exit from the rear staircase. The plane is still exiting to where it is designated to come to a stop. And on board, as we have said, apart from the Holy Father himself, are members of the Vatican media accredited to be part of this trip. And of course his personal staff. Here are some of the government officials at the airport: the Honorable Justin Chachenko, the Honorable Delta Wong, and a number of others that I couldn't see. And there's the Airbus taxiing down the runway, and it will park at a special APEC parking ceremony where the die stands, where the Holy Father will emerge. So activities, all activities will happen as soon as the plane comes to a stop. These are live pictures of the visit to Papua New Guinea by the Holy Father for Pope Francis. It'll be a 4-day visit. Everybody at the airport is taking it all in. All eyes are focused on that Airbus, no doubt, and people outside as well. So are we here at the media center, and I'm sure everybody else who's watching. That's the site at Jackson Airport in Port Moresby. Quite a memorable site, the visit to Papua New Guinea by Pope Francis. He'll be here on Saturday and Sunday. A number of engagements are planned. He also visits Vanimo in the Sundown province. You know, some of the details, Archbishop, the population of Catholics in the world stand at 1.39 billion. And in Papua New Guinea, 96% of Papua New Guineans are Christians. And out of those, 30% of Papua New Guineans are Catholics. That represents about 2.5 going on to 3 million people. And that's according to the 2011 census, and it's now almost 13 years, and that census has never been updated, so that number could have increased. We could guess it and still get it right.
Yes, John, the population continues to grow.
Yes.
And one of the challenges in Papua New Guinea, we never get ourselves right with our census, but we do know that in the families, they're expanding, and the challenges of school fees, feeding, and of course our schools and our health centers, these are the ones that measure how much are we catering for all our people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Archbishop. A Garuda Airbus bringing the Holy Father into Port Moresby. The papal flag is flying as a normal protocol requirement. And coming from Indonesia, a country, an Islam country, Buddhism and Hinduism are strong. And the population there, 383 million people. Out of those, only 8.3 million are Catholics in Indonesia. And in Papua New Guinea, as we alluded earlier, 30% of how many people we have right now, and as we said, the census is not updated, 30% are Catholics, but 96% of the people are Christians. Garuda Airbus, on board the Holy Father, Pope Francis.
It would be a different arrival if it was sunlight or sunset.
You'd have people hanging off branches and on rooftops. I'm not quite sure whether that's happening right now. It could be. It's dark, so we can't see. I'm sure people are seeking some vantage points to have a sneak preview of the arrival. There you are, the Vatican flag and the PNG flag. How about that? It is, looking at that picture, it is a picture of, if it's not excitement, then it is a one of anticipation of what might be, what might happen, what might be said, what might be the outcome when it's all over. At a time when Papua New Guinea is going through some difficult times of law and order, difficult times of hardships, difficult times politically.
You might also have to consider at this point, with the advancement of information communications technology, that a lot of people are having personally following what is going on, which as before you would have a radio only or a TV for a big group of people, but now, given the personalized technology, everyone is to themselves watching what is going on.
We've come of time, haven't we? Yes, we have. Oh, yes, we have. So when the aircraft is parked and the engine stopped, and when the Holy Father emerges and his entourage, people there to greet him and follow through the protocols. Will, as we said, the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable John Rosso, is already there representing the government and the people of Papua New Guinea to welcome the Holy Father. And with him are a number of ministers, including the Honourable Justin Chachenko, the Minister for Foreign Affairs. And he's there in his capacity as welcoming a dignitary from another country who's the head of state as well. There also, no doubt, will be other government officials, members of Parliament. The Honourable Paul Spakov is also there. He's kind of hosting the Papua National Capital District, so he's the governor here, he's there to welcome him. And the people, the traditional landowners and the people here, the Motu Koitabu, are represented there at the airport by Gary Toka Jr., the chairman of the Motu Koitabu. And then, of course, for representing the public servants out there is Ivan Pomala, the Chief Secretary to Government, and also the Secretary of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Elias Wahengu. On the Vatican side, there is, of course, His Eminence, Cardinal Sir John Ribert, representing the Archdiocese of Port Moresby, playing host to the visit by the Papal. And then, of course, you will have the representatives of the Apostolic Nunciature. That's like the embassy of the Vatican Embassy here in Port Moresby, in Papua New Guinea. You also have His Excellency Otto Sepre. He's the Bishop of Barena and the President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference. A little bit dark out there, and of course out at the tarmac you don't have lights. Like you, if it was daytime, then it would be very clear, but yes, it's somebody switched on some lights there. Wow. I said the magic word, did I? There's the crew that was responsible for flying the Holy Father from Jakarta in Indonesia to Port Moresby in Papua New Guinea. A trip that took almost 5 to 6 hours. We're waiting for the moment when all will be cleared for disembarkation of the people on board. And just in front of the aeroplane, the Airbus is a little, almost like a smaller miniature Toyota, but it is specially fitted for the Holy Father to be driven from there to New Guinea Hill. Now these are the Mekio dancers, Mekio performers who are there to welcome. And I think it was done in the previous visits by Pope John Paul II, and on his 2 visits here, the Mekios had gone out there and performed and had welcomed. These pictures are coming to you live, wherever you are. Live from Jackson's Airport in Port Moresby. The Garuda Airbus that has just flown in has flown in. The Holy Father and his entourage and landed at Jackson's Airport a few minutes ago. It's been a long flight, and I'm sure he's had a pretty long day in Indonesia. So from here, there are no other programs planned. As he steps down from the plane, he will take the guard of honor, say hello to the dignitaries there, take the guard of honor, and then will be taken to New Guinea Hill, where the Apostolic Nuncio Sitra is. That's the embassy of the Vatican. And these are some of the clergy out there. Archbishop, you know them. Who are they?
What we just see a while ago is the president, Bishop Otto Sapari, the Bishop of Brena. He's the president of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, and was standing to his back was Bishop Joseph Rosinski,
Okay.
the Bishop of Wiebeck. And all the others, the rest, everybody, I think at this point is nothing much they can say. They're just looking
Just sort of watch.
and just taking it in.
Yes. Yes. So they've obviously opened 2 doors. One at the back, I take it, will be the entourage, the accredited media will come out of there. Some security personnel. Then the steps in the front will be where the Holy Father will no doubt will be guided down. And there's some of the members, part of the entourage, coming down at the back end. And if there are media people, they will no doubt circle the front to take pictures. That's what they came for, and they're not going to miss this opportunity. And in Papua New Guinea, we offer a different kind of reception with the young Mekio dancers who are dressed up in front. Here are some members of the security personnel making sure that the Holy Father is safe. Trained personnel, so they swept into action. Now the members of some of our dignitaries, as well as the two Mekio girls dressed in Mekio dress, will welcome the Holy Father. Is there any specific order under which the bishops go to meet the Holy Father there? Were they picked? Were they chosen? Or how is that arrived at?
John, what is happening is all the bishops are invited to be present for the arrival to greet the Holy Father, because in most cases, he is the what's we refer to as the supreme pontiff, who is the overall boss. And everybody, we normally every 5 years we have to go and give an account on how you're running your dioceses or archdioceses. And so he is also keen to meet each one. And recently we just met him in Rome last year. And now when he comes and see the bishops or meet the bishops on their own turf, it's a bit of a different experience for the Holy Father as much as for the bishops themselves. So in that regard, there is no, of course, we have the Cardinal and the Chairman of the Bishops' Conference, the President, and then the rest. That's about it. We'll be having also a few others who arrived. The other Cardinal from Tonga and another Archbishop from Fiji and from New Zealand, who just felt that this, because we are making Papua New Guinea as representing the Oceania, and so these other bishops felt that they have to be here to representing their four conferences, Australia, New Zealand, and CPAC is all the nations in the Pacific Ocean, and Papua New Guinea Solomon Islands. So this is why we are hearing the referral or the reference is that this visit is a pastoral and apostolic visit of His Holiness Pope Francis to this to Asia and Oceania, and we Papua New Guinea seems to be at the borderline between Asia and Oceania.
Yeah. Or where the bridge?
Yeah.
Where the bridge? We'll break into a little bit of pidgin here, Archbishop. Online blo Papua New Guinea. Yumi talk minis disla balus e karim po posati kam luki mipla kam lo country blo mipla balus e kam pundahan pinis na online ol big bla line blong gapman na lotu tu oli golo place balus long ko kisimem talk welcome long em na kisimem na em by e got plenty of program long em long working long Port Moresby long Saturday na Sunday na tu em by go long Vanimol or West Civic Province. You go looking all some missionary usatoli come lo place where em come long em come long one bla South American country, all they call him Argentina. Now this all missionary, all some all sister, all walk line, all come long up. Now you look all same all line here, it come down the front end and all some all line who start to come on them. I think only come past long. Ready long em by come down. People wait yet. All got to look strong, Archbishop.
John, this pala balus. You know, one kind of small balus si misa lukim long kind of semi tripla all exit ya lo back side long front nothing long side you go to long left hand you can look him. So in look also kataman in look the sol na which one by Papa Santo come out long him. Holy Father by come long this la front or long back side or long side you go. But now or katay stop look the sol na. Wet long look him which step by kisimikam
yes.
Because I mean no walk about to I think only put him long wheelchair by easy long emi go down long usim palusi go down long tamek maybe any will come on top long podium long here but I think long kata viewers long yumi this pala excitement na preparation of this pala time now emi come up finish now sampla long all line walk about one time amoli walk long come kisim place meeting all line even walk about them all group belong one kind of all journalists big line but sampla all close collaborators belong all walk line one time now you meet to call him before because long situation na condition belong we need more extra care long all man no come but the point that Palandi you know look sabi Tomas given no sim lapun binis na emi got sala fragile still emi talk emi like come you can look him now emas by come out no na plus side
okay you look also only you should narapla something long New Guinea long put him long up na alarm come down long up because lapun na
emi insist long come
yes
even suppose all team long Vatican only come look na only go long vanimo na only come back na talk some country got problem long all heavy one them transport long balusi ron or you got short lo fuel or kind or complication come up na only go through long en only to kemem na emi ride long all ketawan talk long en ito all sem only to kemi all semi heart lo come that's all me like come pa me come
I'm not looking all people long am now name come now long upside durang go am stable wheelchair am siglig name no walk about them yet only help him go come all sem all carmem come down long one blah legally up and block New Guinea is a carry all one something go on that long balush na come down long end long upside now all narble come lo front now all bishop all dress come down you meeting all them all bishop now walk line blow low to that so you be must thinking all them only father Amy also president or prime minister and big man blow Vatican state now all this la bishops number them all some blow line and minister blow one kind also suppose prime minister blow me blah James Marabe go on Arab country and some minister go on them and one kind also all some blow this all come on them all some minister blow or some advisor blow or some one in blow long Vatican state because all workman blow is like kind of some government law Vatican. He's a religious leader as well as head of state.
John, I think only been talk long secretary to long secretary of state by come one them. That's all. Ni bin harim ken rapla talk also this secretary now we no come one them all because mama blong me die. Nah, this mama blong this secretary 96 year old mama. So time die now, emi subject so all na rapla na wali come. Pati iwan kayo simito kaya all ministries na all secretaries all close line isa wo ba do antemem na wo kwantem na oli come looking to bless all countries pe imi long here long Asia na long Oceania.
Now. Already wait lo come down all this la all tubla lilik berry tubla dress up all semitok mekyo. Central tasolino mekyo motu koitabon long motu koitabu. Tubla dress is tab long na all little line is tab na time Holy Father come close to chief protocol officer blomibla by introduce him or by talk sabilong Deputy Prime Minister blomibla long come long Holy Father all same long all same formality kind sign also working long big man long Narapla country come now wheelchair only willing go long where Deputy Prime Minister is tab long and Pope Francis you look at him now. By you may talk on him. Picture talk finish. Kiss flower gifts na you saw traditional sign blomipla long national capital na Papua New Guinea go long. Tas all man blong come all media line come long Vatican to also I like him this like an picture I like show him the world all same na all to block him all up camera blomipla tas all am all right. So here goes the Deputy Prime Minister. Welcome to Papua New Guinea, he says. We are honored to have you here on shore. And Igolo now, Deputy Prime Minister, by accompany him or guide him Holy Father, igolong all line blong em now all dignitaries was such estab long and by introducing all igolong Holy Father. This like commander blong commodore blong acting chief blong Papua New Guinea Defense Force. Na igwanta blong APEC dies, whereby online blow mibla, all Soria and online blow mibla long here by Suluti mem. I think only mem na ila kiramem tazo samplai lusimana close to empon down. That's all looking past long I'm smiling. Man blong all people. Man blong igolong all border number, all periphery law English or periphery, I'm long outside. I'm not like all city na kind of them. I'm like go where all people are, sleep outside. Outside all main cities na all good lap, all stuff long where happy hardly long end. I'm like go long end because long kind walk long na thinking long end. Deputy Prime Minister, one time the Holy Father. That's the 21 gun salute now. Normally, he would receive that salute standing up. But in his condition, of course, he He is seated, and as a mark of respect for him, the Deputy Prime Minister is also seated with him. That picture of the Deputy Prime Minister and the Holy Father on the dais is a picture of a moment in time in the history of Papua New Guinea. Archbishop, that's the Honorable Justin Chachenko, the Foreign Minister, going up, meeting with the Holy Father, and the national anthems of Papua New Guinea and the Vatican have been taken. The Governor of the National Capital District, the Honorable Paul Paco, gets the opportunity to get a close-up meeting, handshake with the Holy Father. I couldn't see his face. It could be one of the governors. Government officials. one by one are being introduced, and the Honorable Justin Chechenko is introducing important people, and that is MP Peter Isoaimo, member for it's the chairman of the Motu Koita Boons, Daddy Toka Jr. And this is Delta Wong, the member for Gazelle. From West New Britain, that's the Honorable Elias Kapavore. A rare handshake, Peter Siamalili, Police Minister, a rare handshake that they'll treasure for a long time in their lives. You'll never get that as frequent as you would in your electorate. Okay, its formality is over. The Foreign Minister. Okay, that's the members of the clergy. I'll let you do that, Archbishop.
Of course, we have His Eminence, Cardinal Sir John Ribat. Similar to the Governor of NCD, both are owners of the city, and they are welcoming him to spend his time with our people here in the nation's capital, and all the other bishops coming from the various provinces and dioceses, bringing with them all the people they represent, and as much as the services that we deliver, the education, health. Most of the bishops have been looking forward to this opportunity, and as I said earlier, that there are a couple of visitors from our nearby Australia and New Zealand are taking part in the welcome as representing our Oceania Catholic Bishops, the Federation of the Catholic Bishops Conference here. So they are amongst the mix of all the ones that are welcoming and greeting His Holiness Pope Francis.
Big plus side lo disla also online go past long government side. Only talk welcome long M lo side long government because M2 M head long government lo Vatican. Na tu na all disla all bishop lo disla side all talk hello long M no welcome M long M head long church. All same name two blood group it talk welcome long M long I come long en lo Papua New Guinea. And this is a reality performance, an official visit to any country. And now legally carrier, we talk only equipment long by Karim, the Holy Father, he go long place long lo sleep long New Guinea Hill long Tokarara. Place them by sleep long also embassy belong belong ground house by still belong non government belong Papua New Guinea Papua long or when belong Vatican belong Rome yet belong Vatican state yet also one kind also embassy by still belong time go long Narbla country no sa silib lo hotel or house belong Narbla man state houses or accommodation by go silib long embassy or high commission or when him up well only call him apostolic where apostolic nuncios are stablongen. Now I'm by working one kind of sem Port Moresby. By non have sleep lo hotel, by non have sleep lo government guest house, by sleep lo place lo yet. Long ground lo yet. Inside long. Legally have ground inside lo Papua New Guinea and long Vatican. Na place lo ngen and go sleep lo ngen. Legally carrier by Gishim Holy Father, I go long place blame lo stop. That's all one plus something, road long Jackson Airport, he come in up long 5 mile line, go in up long Corobosea and I go long independent go long New Guinea Hill. Pull up long old man, Mary, all the day line up long road na Toktoki come also more legally called candle or some light long sons belong all long, look long. Pope Francis. Now Lushim, there's a legally up ceremony, up welcome ceremony belong now by Igor now. Long blood trip belong Trango, go sleep. Tomorrow big blood day. By you meet Toktok on Isla, that's all you mean behind go legally. All some black car go past na backside long all security car about. Some place stop close to like mobile phone camera walk about now. I'll get that on. And finish him, digly up welcome ceremony lo Jackson Airport, lo Port Moresby. Pope Francis, Archbishop, is now being taken to taken to New Guinea Hill.
Yes, John.
Tokorara, where he will be overnighting at the Apostolic Nunciature. That's the embassy, like an embassy. And no doubt there'll be people lining up the route. He will be driving. The route will be from Erma to 5 Mile and then Boroko and then all the way to Corobosea and all the way to New Guinea Hill. And there you can see how Port Moresby has turned out to welcome the head of the Catholic Church and the head of the Vatican. A spiritual leader who's very powerful in the world. Just by the very nature that he is, a spiritual leader. You know, it's quite extraordinary, Archbishop, that to see all these cars, police, buses, huge Land Cruisers, big cars, taking all the other dignitaries, but the Holy Father is in a small Toyota, waving to the people and going. I think it is specially fitted. I'm not suggesting that it is done for whatever, but I think it is by choice that he wants to have it open and wave to people along the way.
This Holy Father Francis, by teaching this name Francis, he wanted to be closer to the Saint Francis of Assisi, who was from a very rich family, and when he had to respond to the call to be a disciple of Jesus, in a sense, he stripped off everything, gave it back to his father, and walked out a poor man, a beggar. And that is the message that you want to really emphasize. Even when he was already elected Pope, he went himself back on a small car, or he got a public bus, something. They have to get the securities to get him, because he wanted to go back to the hotel where he stayed and to pay off his bills. You know, this was mind-blowing for a lot of people. They would send the secretaries to do this and that, but he himself chose to go and pay off his bill and ask if anything else. And then because in his country, in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, he himself traveled a lot on public buses. That was how he was close to the people, and he picked up a lot of the people's pain and sufferings and challenges by being with them in this public transport. So for him it is pretty normal to be just in a small car like that.
Okay. It's being reflected here, and even in Indonesia, there were pictures circulating of him in a tricycle in the middle of one of the busy streets in Indonesia. But here, yes, he demonstrates that to the people of Port Moresby, Papua New Guinea. A simple man, the people spoke. And a number of the officials have taken leave. First was the Deputy Prime Minister, now the Commodore, the Chief Commodore of the Defence Force. Okay, as matter of protocol, we allow the Holy Father to be driven to New Guinea Hill, where he will have his dinner. And where he will rest for the night. The PNG Defence Force, members of the Guard of Honor, will now take leave. They are the last ones to take leave. And this is where the television cameras also will terminate from Jackson's airport. The official